welcome to another edition of the Who Is podcast, and thank y'all for running these numbers up. I am honored and humbled to see the response. But of course, my name is Quicksilva, and I'm sitting here right now with one of my OGs. Like, you know, when I say when you become a big homie, you still salute the people that were the big homie before you was the big homie. And this right here, you can't mention events and culture. I'm not going to say events. I'm talking the culture and the pulse of some of the biggest things that's happening in Baltimore and abroad. I know him as Finney, but your real name is Larian Finney. I've never called you your real name, by the way.
Most people don't.
So your real name is
Larian Finney.
Larian Finney. We all know him as Phineas here, ladies and gentlemen. Phineas here.
My God.
So you go by your last name.
Most people call me by my last name, yeah.
I've known you, I know, at least for 30 years. I don't think I've ever called you Larian in my life.
Man, there's people who I've been around 50 years who call me Finney. And it just started when I was a young kid because they butchered my first name.
Right.
It just became the comfort level for everybody.
Got you.
That I engage with.
I like to always start with the exact same question. Just assume somebody's watching because somebody is watching or listening and they have no idea who you are.
Right.
If I had to ask you, who is Larian Finney, how would you answer that?
Man, first, I'm a dad. Second, I'm a kid from Baltimore that loves the city. And then third, you know, I have companies that we continue to try to make impact, lift our community, help people, and try to really move our culture forward. So when you ask who I am, I'm someone who's just here serving my city, my people, my family, my community.
Where you from? What part of Baltimore?
Cherry Hill.
Oh, South Side guy.
Yeah.
Okay, give it up for South Baltimore.
Yeah.
You don't find a lot of people, like most people that I know that rep Baltimore, especially the people that's kind of made it, is either from East or West Side. I'm trying to think, is there anybody else from the South Side that got to your level?
Man, we got Chief Ham, you got Billy Murphy, you got Bishop Thomas.
Billy Murphy's from South Baltimore?
Yeah.
That's
Billy
my
Murphy.
lawyer.
Yeah, I know. Billy grew up probably not even 2 minutes from me, man. Yeah,
wow.
So we got a lot of folks come off that hill, man.
Gotcha, man. Shout out to the South Side. Yeah. But let's take it back at day one. I always love to paint the picture when I'm talking to somebody. When you first, you know, you're growing up in South Baltimore, like what was your childhood like? What were you doing? Like what was your likes and dislikes back then?
Oh, man, it was real simple, man. I was big into sports, man. Baseball, basketball, swimming. So that was really my foundation. Lived at Patapsco Rec Center.
Nice.
Grew up with my guys, Keith Goody and all those folks. So sports, and then was really fortunate to be really good in school. So between academics and sports, that was my foundation. And that allowed me to matriculate and go to Roland Park, which led me to Poly, and then
sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that about the Poly part. I'm a city alumni. But keep going.
Never beat us from when I was there. But then, you know, from Poly, it gave me an opportunity to get a full ride to go to Mount St. Mary's and play basketball and my degrees in chemistry. So that real foundation of having a good support system growing up and making sure that the academics stayed at the forefront has really been a great foundation for me.
It's crazy. I've known you for over 3 decades. I never knew you played basketball. I knew you was tall.
Yeah.
But so you was a basketball star. Yeah, what'd you play? What position?
I played 2 guard, and you know, people in the city know me for shooting.
You shooting?
Yeah, they know.
Could you dunk back then?
Oh man, I had hops. You know, not now, but back then.
It's funny because Finney is so known as the businessman. Like I can't see Finney doing anything that's not making money. Like,
dude, I'm telling you, man. I played basketball until I turned 50. And the crazy story, it was 10 days before my wedding, and I tear my kneecap.
Wow.
And since then, it's been no more hoops for me. But yeah, man, I played basketball all my life. It's been a big part of who I am.
That's super dope. Now, of course, all of us know you know, before we get to the whole, I call it First Thursday. Some people call it Jazzy Summer Nights. When did you get into realizing you want to start throwing events at all?
Yeah, so the real short, man, you know, my degree's in chemistry. I was a chemist for 6 months. A lot of people don't know that. And then Susan O'Malley, who was the president of Washington Bullets, went to Mount St. Mary's, and I begged and pleaded for her to give me a job because I did not want to be a chemist. And I started running the events and basketball games at the arena. Gotcha. And that's how I started back in the early 90s, man. So we ran the 4 games. We did the NBA and the community element for the Washington Bullets at the time. And then from there, I was fortunate to get a gig with Eastman Kodak and ran all of their marketing for the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. That's a big
deal. Don't scare over that. That's a big deal.
That was really my my breeding ground. I tell people all the time, between the Bullets and Eastman Kodak, I have 2 PhDs in marketing and putting logistics together.
And it's crazy. Somebody watching right now has no idea that Baltimore even ever had a team. Right. The Baltimore Bullets, we know, then became the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just trying to paint the picture of somebody that's young watching, like, what the hell is the Bullets? Because I promise you, somebody had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So now you're doing these things. Do you remember throwing or curating your first event?
Yeah, it was actually, it's what got me fired from the Washington Bullets, man.
Explain what?
So
Give me the story.
So I meet Larry Stewart. It was his first year comping, and I became close. So I'm a big ticket package. And I said, let's do an after party for one of the games at the arena. So we do it at the Baltimore Grand. And
the Baltimore Grand is crazy.
It was a ton of people. And then it gets back that I was involved in a non-sanctioned event using players. So Susan called me and said, LaRon, you're the leader of Baltimore City, and you're doing a non-sanctioned event. We're going to give you a month to figure out your next move, but we're going to have to transition because we're also moving to DC, and this would be a good transition, but you can't do non-sanctioned events. And I was like, well, I didn't know. Right. But yeah, so that was my first event, probably 800 people at the Baltimore Grand after Bullets game at the arena.
Did you feel bad after doing that event?
No. I tell you, man, even when I started my company in 2001, I was with Johnson & Johnson, top sales rep in the country. But my calling had always been entrepreneurial, and I got that spirit working in the NBA, working for the Olympics. You really saw how corporate was moving, but how our talent was being leveraged.
Yes.
So at a very early age, I was like, wow, let me leverage my own talent. Let me bet on myself. And I left a corporate gig back in 2001, and I started my company. I've been on my own since then.
Got you. Now, of course, I know your story, but I want to just say for someone watching, can you remember the first Thursday event you threw and where was that?
So it's funny, man. Like, this is probably early 90s, right? My friends and I, we used to go to Hopkins Plaza because they had a music series there. So fast forward, I was one of the owners of Larry Stewart's place, myself, Larry Stewart, Phil Booth, and we're sitting up in the office on the 3rd floor, and we're looking out at this dirty alley. But Larry Stewart's had become so popular and so crowded. I said, dude, and we were doing live music on Thursdays, right?
Gotcha.
I said, what if we put a stage in the middle of the alley? And that became Jazz in the Alley on first Thursdays. And then Downtown Partnership came to me and said, do you want to partner? And then that's how Jazzy Summer Night started, man. It started from a concept of looking in the alley to Downtown Partnership coming. And real funny, we do the first one at Charles Plaza, Kim Waters, Kelly Bell Band. Mr. Angelos, rest his soul, said, what is the 5,000 people doing in my Charles Plaza? And I get called to his office. We're going to have to move this event. And that's how I got down to City Hall.
So I'm just going to paint the picture again. So y'all throw your first event in an alley. Did you pull any permits or anything?
No, man. We just
put the speakers out there.
Dude, we put...
Said, fuck it.
Listen, so the first one, absolutely not. But it started spilling over into Calvert Street, and then the city calls and said, you got to do this and do that. I had no experience doing pulling permits and any of that.
Right.
We was just running a restaurant, right? So ultimately, we got our rhythm and our cadence, but that's where Fro the Ground performed, and it just became, the birth of Jazzy Summer Nights, man.
When I think of Jazzy Summer Nights, I think of I don't know if you already collected, but it's such a vibe that's grown, and before the whole term "grown and sexy" was out, Jazzy Summer Nights has always been that. What made you? Because you got to think back in the '90s, that early '90s, when you're throwing the mid '90s, what was popular in Baltimore at the time was Baltimore club music. And then hip hop was coming on the scene, but club music still was at the forefront in those '90s. But then you have a Larian Finney who comes out of nowhere and says, I'm not going to do a Baltimore club event or a hip hop event. I'm going to do and I don't even think this term neo soul was out, but that's always been your vibe. What made you go like that angle? That's kind of all the way left field. That if I was a businessman, I'm like, this could be nice for me, but I'm not going to make any money.
So I tell you, man, that's a great question. And I was managing Fro the Ground at the time, which is probably one of the top independent bands. And and we traveled the world, and I just saw that there was a vibe around this music. So it was the same time of Jill Scott coming, Raheem Devon.
Mm-hmm.
It was a vibe. So when I started, Jay Some Nights, I was booking the music I like to listen to. I'm being
so this is personal for you.
It was personal for 25 years. So I was bringing go-go because I became a go-go cat when I was in college. Mark Barnes is coming up to my dorm. We hanging out. Went to his house. I heard Chuck. Became a go-go head. So for 25 years, man, all the artists you saw, artists I want to listen to. And then what was important was how we create an experience in front of the stage where folks felt comfortable, felt safe, and it was a vibe. And then we bring DJs on top of that to create a party at the end. So that was kind of the secret sauce.
Gotcha. At what point did you realize that Jazzy Summer Nights? So first, did we call it Jazzy Summer Nights or we call it First Thursdays? Because the hood is First Thursdays.
So
what's the real term?
So Jazzy Summer Nights is the brand, but it was always held on First Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it became a aggregate of both of those things. So, people in the community, they're going to make it whatever they want.
Oh, it's First Thursday.
Yeah, it's First Thursday, right? So, but I tell you, man, the first show we did with Kim Waters and Kelly Bell, Charles Plaza was packed. They were in the streets on Fair Street. And I was like, we got something here. Because it was free and it was really, really good music.
And that was kind of like where I was going. My next question, you're booking these acts that you personally like. You're not charging people to see these acts, but I'm sure these acts weren't doing this for free. You were paying them.
Right.
How was that even, before we get to you becoming, the mogul that you are now, how was that in your mind financially beneficial?
Well, so year one, the way we were able to sustain is that Downtown Partnership became a partner.
Gotcha.
And then I got some funding through the state because I had relationships. So we were able to get it underwritten the first year for the artists. And then I made money on food vendors and the bar. Right? And that's kind of been a formula. How do we sustain a budget for the artists? That's normally with sponsors. And then any revenue on the positive side will come from the bar and food and beverage. And then we started adding cabanas and VIP sections, and that became part of the vibe.
Got you. Now, do you remember at what point, like you said, you realized you had something when you had to move it, but do you realize at what point that you feel like this became a staple outside of Baltimore? Because for years, people from everywhere traveled to Baltimore.
100%. It was the artists, man, whether it was Raheem, but it really crystallized, man. This was 4th of July weekend, ironically, 4th of July weekend now. And I had Chuck Brown. And DC cats are not used to seeing Chuck for free.
Right. Ever.
Quick when I tell you, bro, it was Southeast Berry Farms at the back of Hopkins Plaza. It was absolutely crazy.
You remember what year that was?
It was 2004, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
2004, 2005. And then what ultimately happened, Chuck and I became great friends. He did my birthday party. And then I really made him the Frankie Beverly of Jazzy, where he was a closing act every year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I remember.
So, and I'm a go-go fanatic, man. So to have the honor then to bring Essence and Backyard and all those guys to the city is when I realized that we could really impact Baltimore, DC, and Virginia.
And for anybody who doesn't understand, first and foremost, rest in peace to Chuck Brown, the godfather of go-go music. That's such a big deal because, once again, just paint the picture so people understand. For years, Baltimore and DC has had this underlying rivalry where DC don't come to Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, we've always gone to DC because they've always had a better nightlife, a bigger, bigger venues, a bigger budget. But for years, DC wouldn't come to Baltimore, not to party and for festival.
Right.
We were almost frowned upon. When you first brought Chuck Brown that first year, were you at all worried that, two-part question, DC wouldn't attend, but secondly, that Baltimore wouldn't be receptive to go-go? Because at that point, go-go wasn't a thing in Baltimore at all.
No, that's a great question. And I wasn't worried because, one, when you're a go-go fan, you understand that seeing it live is a different vibe, right? So I felt strong enough after year 3 or 4 of Jay Summer Nights that people are coming to First Thursday.
No matter what.
You and me could have been on stage and they're coming.
Right.
So I said, I want to give them what I fell in love with. And I knew Chuck's live performance was second to none. I mean, he brought Lil Benny,
Rest in peace,
White
Lil
Boy,
Benny.
Sugar Bear. I mean, that show was so iconic, man. And what I do know is that DC cats will travel for Chuck.
Absolutely.
And DC cats and women will travel for Chuck, and they don't have to pay. So, that was what my mentality was. And then I said, look, we're going to do go-go every August after Chuck passed, because normally he will close out in September.
Mm-hmm.
And, DC, they've come up, man, for, all the shows that we do. I'm doing, on July 16th, we're doing Go-Go Night in Baltimore in partnership with the Go-Go Museum.
Nice.
We got Backyard, Black Alley, and the Hugh Band. And we're just going to continue.
You doing that with my man, Ron Moten?
Yeah, Ron is my guy, man.
What up, Mo? That's my guy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I'm just hearing about this and why Quicksilva's not on that party. So I don't know if I need to talk to Finney or Mo to figure that out. Because I am kind of the bridge of Baltimore, D.C.
Well, you got to make a choice. You want to do Go-Go now, you want to do Lauryn Hill? Which
both?
one you want?
Both?
You can't do both.
I'm on both.
You can't do both.
I'm stingy. Share for what?
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. But seriously, how did, Chuck Brown became such a staple to First Thursdays or Jazzy Summer Nights, however you want to word it. How did do you remember what was the next artist that you felt like, I don't use the word top Chuck because, Chuck Brown can't be duplicated or replicated. What was the next artist you felt like had their staple on Jazzy Summer Nights?
Raheem DeVaughn, without question.
Yeah.
He became a staple, Raheem. The show we did with Lettucey was unbelievable. But you're talking about consistently every other year, Raheem would be on the show. And they will come out, and I'm a big fan of his as well.
Same here. I've toured with Raheem DeVaughn.
So I just think, man, we've been very blessed, and we got a lot of artists at the beginning. So you talk about Lettucey, you talk about Leela James. We're getting them at the beginning, right? So we're riding and rocking out with them. So Fertile Ground, Raheem DeVaughn, and Chuck, I think if you did a poll, would be the iconic artist for Jazzy Summer Nights.
I would absolutely have to say that my first time even hearing about Raheem DeVaughn, you gotta think, I've been based out of the DC area for decades, and I knew of him and I heard of him, but my first time, seeing him live was at Jazzy Summer Nights. And I remember, I think we did an after party at Club One or something.
We did the after party because Club One was the official after party.
And I DJ'd that for me and Tons. Me and Tons did the after party. But I remember seeing him there at Jazzy Summer Nights, and then of course him coming to Club One with me and Tons with DJing. And I remember saying and just seeing his aura. He called himself the neo soul hippie rock. I forgot his title. He was like, I'm a rock star, neo soul jazz hippie.
Right.
So when I first saw Raheem DeVaughn, I was like, he gets it. Like he's gonna have an audience of his own. And I'm not gonna say Finney made Raheem DeVaughn, but what I will say on record, you definitely introduced him to a lot of people outside of his region that became humongous fans of Raheem DeVaughn.
Look, Raheem, and I would tell you, man, he just came and did my birthday party with the Crank Crusaders a couple months ago. But the real breakout, it was Jazzy, but I had him open for Maze at the African American Heritage Festival.
Oof, get that a round of applause.
So it's 60,000 people, and this is a young cat, and he absolutely killed it. And from then on, I think, he gets into his career. But he and I talk about that to this day, man.
One thing I will say, and I think you can attest this, Raheem DeVaughn, and I'm going to look in the camera when I say this, Raheem DeVaughn is arguably one of the best performers of our time, but he doesn't get his credit.
Not even close. And I tell you, I went to Wolf Trap. He did this tribute concert to Marvin Gaye. I really think he's our Marvin Gaye.
He is. I mean, Raheem's really... If you've never seen Raheem DeVaughn live, I'm telling you, his live performance will top some of your biggest stars. I'm not going to start name dropping, but some of your biggest stars that sell out stadiums.
Yeah, can't touch him.
Live show?
Can't touch
Raheem DeVaughn.
And his pen is just unbelievable, man. So, I'm biased to Raheem, but I'm biased because he's done the work and he's a true artist, man.
Big fans.
He loves his fans.
Here's a question if you want to answer, because we're talking about all the good things about Jazzy Summer Nights in First Thursdays. Do we feel like there's any artist that you've booked at Jazzy Summer Nights that you thought was going to be something, but then they kind of disappointed you?
You know what, man? Man, we've been fortunate, man. Like, we've had difficult artists who I could sit and have a conversation like this, and then we get the sound check, and they want the Hammond B to move 3 inches. I'm like, dude, we don't have 3 inches. One of my brothers who I love dearly, Frank McComb, is Donny Hathaway incarnated, right? So he was a bear, but once we got to the performance, he was great. But I tell you, man, we've been fortunate, and I think the reality of why it's happened is we're booking artists that we know make good music.
Gotcha. So now you're not taking a chance with some new artists.
No chances and no track acts. It's all live music, live instrumentation, and I that's one of the legacies that we don't talk about, that we've had a run of 25 years where it's been all good music, man.
Get that.
Then I've had DJs that absolutely flamed out. That I won't name.
You want to name one of Who Is podcasts? Go ahead, Finney. Because nobody's ever seen you controversial.
No. I was like, I'm in where I normally sit on the side of the stage, right?
Yes.
I was like, is this guy not
reading the crowd?
And is he like locked and frozen? Because I really tell folks, man, it's the DJ's job to take the audience on a journey. Don't play what you think people want to hear. You got to take them on a journey.
And paint the picture with doing it.
Oh, man, I walked off that stage. Because, after the live performance, people were ready to party for the last hour.
And if the DJ sucks, they're leaving.
Oh, my goodness. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. And then, I get the call in the morning. How I do? I was like, champ, you didn't do a good job, brother.
How did he receive that call?
I don't think he received the award, but he has not been on my stage since. I'll tell you that.
Let me try to do process of elimination. No, you know what? We just talked about the Who Is podcast. It's not messy. So, but we can go on record and say, as far as DJ with the best live performance, who'd you say that was, Finney?
Hey, look, man, quick, you do your thing. But listen, I'm going to tell you, I have my favorite DJs. And you and I just had a conversation. I want you, because this Long Hill is a big deal for our city.
Absolutely.
Right? And I called up people. I said, look, I want Quick to be the DJ on the show. So we're working through those iterations. And where you and I, like, I'm only going to put you on certain stages because I think that's where you belong. Right?
I appreciate
It's not about, doing a gig with Finney. I think it's certain stages that deserve what you do, your performance, and so forth. And I think you will get the assignment for Lauryn Hill.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I do best.
Yeah, so I think, but I got a lot of, and we give a lot of DJ shots, man, like Young Supreme.
That's my guy. Dope. He's dope too. I like him.
We 2 years ago, we bring him on Afro Preak, the Met Gala. He's going to do my 4th of July celebration. So, I have favorite DJs, but then I also have DJs who I know the assignment and who's going to do it, and you're one of those guys, 100%.
Got you. Am I one of those guys, or am I the guy?
I only made one call for Long Hill, champ. It's
Come on, Finney, come on. I'm trying to get Finney to say it, guys, so I can use this as my little drop on Instagram.
But this is a drop that Quick is for the moment, champ. You for the moment.
And I appreciate
that says a lot, because a lot of people, one, can't handle the stage, one, they don't get the assignment, and then two, they're overwhelmed. And then they make it more about them when it's really about the experience for the customer and for the audience.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. But if you're just tuning in, of course, we're talking to the Larian Finney. We all just know him as Finney in Baltimore. Now, you keep using the words, Jazzy Summer Nights was. For those who don't know, Jazzy Summer Nights has been around for 25 years. Yeah. And I remember you telling me this, and I'm like, Finney, shut the hell up. You're just talking shit. Yeah. I get a call one day that Finney is saying, Quick, I'm done. And I'm like, you can't be done. We're not going to allow you to be done, because this is such a staple in Baltimore for over 2 decades. Right. You can't give up. Right. Are you really, there is no more Jazzy Summer Nights?
No. So, you were at the last show we had, Drew Hill in Baltimore, and I think 25, you and I talked about this, was a great time to let it sunset, man. It had run its course, and I was working on some new things. We're just fortunate to take over Pier 6, and I said I'm going to start some kind of series there, but it won't be Jazzy Summer Nights. So we starting Soul in the Water. It'll be a monthly series, but 25 years is a great run, man.
It is.
And that formula, it just, I think it's ran its course. And I'd rather go out on top. And the way we went out, and I appreciate you coming to share that moment with me, man.
It rained, though. I hated that part.
No.
That was the year before.
Yeah. No.
They not. You're right.
The Drew Hill show.
It's perfect. That's perfect.
And just how you came and supported me. I really appreciate that.
No, that was it was no way I was going to miss that show.
Right.
But here's an honest question. Right now, you're saying that you're done Jazzy Summer Nights, which we know is First Thursday. Would you be upset if someone started a First Thursday series and took your exact same formula, went to the exact same venue, got pulled the permits? Now, they don't call it Jazzy Summer Nights First Thursday because legally they can't. They call it whatever.
Well, that wouldn't happen in the city. They won't let them do it because I wouldn't let. They could do whatever they want, but it's like Frank Lucas said, just don't call it Blue Magic.
Do it on Tuesdays.
Yeah, but it won't be at Hopkins Plaza.
But you saying that, but if I pull up, not me, but let's just say Joe Blow pulls a permit and does everything on correct. How do you say?
No, he could do whenever they do it. I tell you, I took a 2-year hiatus from doing Jazzy. Someone tried to do it. It ain't always as easy as it looks, man.
I know.
I know. So, I want everybody to be successful in the city because I love the city. I think the more stuff that we have from a cultural standpoint, it strengthens who we are. I welcome. I just told, someone came to me, well, won't you let someone use the name Jay? I was like, no, champ, I'm not letting anybody.
Blue Magic.
Nah, man, that name is done. But if someone wants to come and, put the money up, a real quick story, someone, wants to do shows at Pier 6. And I said, well, this is the number that it costs to do a show down here. It was a wake-up call for folks. Folks don't know production, staging, hands, labor. It's a number.
Security,
staffing. So,
insurance
that they may not be able to get, being able to matriculate through the process of permits with the city. So, I would take my hat off to folks who want to try to do something. Absolutely.
Gotcha. I remember, I don't know if folks remember this, and remind me, Jazzy Summer Nights, I don't want to say it was at its peak, but it was doing amazing numbers. And then I remember, of course, everybody know I'm born and raised in Baltimore, but, a lot of my career has been based out of D.C. I got another call from Finney, and Finney says, I want to bring a festival to the D.C. Prince George's area. And then you call me, Russ Parr. We have a whole press day and press thing, and we meet at the space. Whatever came out of that?
Oh, dude, I tell folks, they look at your wins, but they can't handle your losses. And Prince George's County, I lost $3 million cash on that festival. I think you and I talked about this. And I went to that particular part, Prince George's. I thought we had a great concept of doing an international festival because of the demographics in the region and just the commitment that was promised from the county and some other things. It flamed. And it was a $3 million hit cash, and that was a moment where either you're gonna pivot and rebound, or you're gonna go off and put your head between your legs and quit. But it was a great learning experience for me because again, I will never put my success in the hands of any municipality. Number one, and then two, you got to go where you know the market. And where you have assets and where you have relationships. So I was building everything new in Prince George's County. I thought we had great artists. We had TLC. We had blah, blah, blah.
Everything.
Ludacris. But I was in the wrong location. I was in Landover at the Magic Johnson Theater location, right? And folks just did not come out. And it was a humbling experience to sit there after 3 days, all the work, and
you did everything right. By the way, I was a part of the process with you, watching you.
Quick, I'm telling you, this is for your fans, man. I'm staying at the hotel at MGM, the Gaylord. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. I said, man, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I had a $50,000 bill due Monday. I got $10,000 in my account. She wires some money. Books a trip to New Orleans for Beyonce and Jay-Z. And that's where I went and cleared my head. I came back and said, okay, we got to rebuild.
Give it up for your wife, man. That's a shout her out, man. Look at the camera. So, right.
Listen. And I tell people, man, I don't need folks when everything is good. But if I'm in that alley rumbling, and dude, I'm at the Gaylord, like, what just happened? Like nobody came.
Not nobody. I remember I was surprised. Like I remember saying like, you got all the biggest acts. You got Quicksilva. You got everybody. Everything right. Advertised on every radio station, every TV station, every social. I'm like, I feel like you over promoted this, dude, and people didn't show up.
I'm just telling.
What's the name of the festival again?
The International Festival.
That is insane.
But the lesson is that you got to know your market. Now, if we had put that same asset in DC, it's a home run.
Agree. Right?
Even if I had bought that concept to Baltimore, but if we had taken that same concept to DC, it was a home run. It was just, it was what it was. But again, man, that's just life, man. Every entrepreneur, Steve Jobs, Quicksilva, Larian Finney, we all have had our challenges, man.
And I'm so glad you said that because people see what I always call the highlight reel. Yeah. They see the highlight reel of Finney winning. They see the highlight reel of me and you stand on stage at the Jazz Summer Nights 25th with our hand together. They see that.
Right.
They don't see that moment we just talked about. A lot of people don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Or don't even know about it because it wasn't a success. But what I'm so honored to call you a friend is that you didn't let that moment define you. Well, a lot of people, and you know this, when you lose that type of money, it takes a mental toll on you. Yeah. Financially, you're fucked up. Yeah. But it takes a mental toll. You can turn it it takes a mental toll on you where mentally you never get back in a good space, so it doesn't even allow you to get the finances back.
Quick, and my mentor said you can't manage 2 storms at one time. So I'm going through that. And I'm finalizing a divorce. So I'm going through 2 storms at one time, right? And, but again, man, like, coming from Cherry Hill, this is only bumps in the roads, bro. From when we come out of the mud, it's just a bump in the road. And I had great people not to give me anything, but to give me wisdom. And this is where I learned, man, you look at, Reginald Flores, you look at any business person, they've gone through valleys because you're not able to really reach your peak unless you know and get the warts.
Man, if y'all only knew this shit I've been through, you wouldn't believe it if I told you.
but quick, this is a challenge in our community, man. People wear business success or challenges as indicators of who they are as human beings. That festival in Prince George's County don't define who I am, what my spirit is, what my integrity is. It just defines that I made a bad decision and cannot figure out how to come back at the end of the day.
I'm honored you did, and I'm honored you kept going. So now that Jazzy Summer Nights is done, and I don't believe Finney because I know Finney don't know how to sit home. He ain't ready to sit home and play.
Soul in the Water is the next thing.
So Soul in the Water is happening at Pier 6.
Pier 6, yeah.
And that's already started. You want to announce the Lauryn Hill date now?
Yeah. So Soul in the Water starts on the 16th with a go-go night, and then Lauryn Hill is July 19th. We got Tank and the Bangers. We got Shantae Moore and Christopher Williams.
Ooh.
And then we got Raheem and Daly to close it out.
And Quicksilva was opening up for Lauryn Hill. It's a big deal. And then after that, I'm just going to open up for the rest of them. Like, and I get you want to share the wealth. But sometimes it's kind of how you say Chuck closes every year. Yeah. When you know somebody's going to do the job and perform well, you don't have to give somebody.
I'm not opposed to that. And
we'll talk off air.
No, we can look at October 1st, but I'm telling you, and again, you can see that lineup. I love Tank and the Bangers. Raheem, I love Daly. So again, we're booking artists. It's not jazzy because we're in the pavilion, we're on the water, boats are going to pull up, so it's going to be a whole different vibe. You know what I mean? We got the big screen. People have places to sit. We got the cigar lounge on the pier.
Now you just teasing me. That's my vibe.
So Soul in the Water is, I guess, the new iteration of what people would consider, but it's a whole different vibe. And I tell you, man, that Pier 6, we've taken it for granted. It's an amazing venue.
I'm excited.
And it sits between the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons. And we have boats pull up last week, man, for Kess. Caribbean soca show. Sold out, and it was an unbelievable vibe down there.
I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm like, I know we're joking, but I'm on it. Like, I never take anything for granted, because at the end of the day, we have a relationship, but you don't have to book me for events, and I'm not gonna ever feel some type of way because we're friends outside of the work.
100.
But I am on it when you're like, hey, quick, I need you. And I'm like, done and done. We don't even talk money. We talk money later. We'll figure it out, because I'm good for it. I know you're good for it. We'll figure it out. Another thing I want to touch on for a second while I have you here is that you've been a part of a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people know. So we all know, when I say we, most of the world knows Larian Finney as Mr. Jazzy Summer Nights, Mr. First Thursdays. You had some really dope with Carmelo Anthony recently.
Yeah.
Tell the people who might not know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. So been knowing Mello for a while, man, and working with D. Watkins, came up with the House of Mello concept in Baltimore. We consulted behind the curtain. And again, I don't need to be out front, but I knew it was important to Carmelo. He's come. We announced that at a project that I'm involved with, the Thurgood Marshall Amenity Center.
Nice.
Where we did a whole $15 million renovation on the elementary school where Thurgood Marshall went. You were able to tour that building. So we're doing, in the heart of our city, we're renovating historically relevant buildings. So we just did an announcement and unveiled the law office where Juanita Jackson Mitchell practiced law, and where Hannah Thurgood wrote Brown versus Board of Education.
So
we're looking at 1313 Division, which is right next to Thurgood. That's where Carmelo Anthony's aunt lives. So again, how can we take the hood, those 4 blocks, and do what they did at Inner Harbor East, but do it in our community, have economic impact, put people to work. So we're doing that. I'm probably on 50% of the projects in the city when it comes to furniture, fixture, and equipment. So for MLK, the project right there, my company in partnership with MOI, we did all the furnishing for that. We do a lot of community work.
You do.
So people are lazy, quick. They want to pigeonhole you. I've never been a promoter.
Definitely not a promoter. I've never caught you promoting. You're a curator of the culture.
Yeah, and I love this city, man. And I always say that, and I just try to do things that put us in a positive light.
Here's an honest question. You've been super successful for over 30 years in Baltimore, born and raised in South Side of Baltimore. You've done big things. A lot of people, when they get to your level, status-wise, financial-wise, they look to go to a bigger market. Why has Larian Finney never decided, you know what, if I can do this in Baltimore, I can do this in LA, I can do this in Houston, I can do this in New York, and I can make 100 times the money?
Well, Baltimore is my base. I live in Baltimore. My wife and I, we got a house in Tampa. We can do stuff anywhere around the country, but I love this city. You know what I mean? This is where my roots are. So we just, I represent the National Basketball Retired Players Association, which is now Legends of Basketball. We did All-Star Weekend in LA. We shut down a block. All the elements of stuff that we do here, they would have never done that in LA. Shut down city blocks and blah, blah, blah. And so Baltimore's my base, but wherever they call me, we're going to come and we're going to produce it. For 14 years, we did the NAACP National Convention, the Urban League. So again, Baltimore's my base. But when we go to LA, they got to pay me LA money.
I know that's right. Talk that shit. You can talk shit on this podcast. You got to be humble here. Another thing, once again, and I keep saying another because, I want to really give this guy his flowers, not because he's a friend of mine, but I think, the purpose why I even started the Who Is podcast was for allow people to tell their story, but for a lot of people that are, supporters of mine that might not know about all the things you're doing. So now you know about First Thursday, you know about the Carmelo Anthony, you know about what's called Soul in the Water.
Soul in the Water.
But a lot of people did not know when we have a thing called the Met Gala.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Met Gala. Can you tell us a little bit about the Baltimore Met Gala and who your partners are with that? Yeah,
so a couple of things, man. 5 years ago, Derek Chase and I...
D. Chase, what up, homie?
Yep, my guy. And we got a call from Preakness, and they said, we're trying to revive this brand, and we came up with Afro Preak. And as Chase and I continued to sit and create ideas, we were in my living room, and he had just come from a party where he saw gay black men, straight black men, dressed to the nines. He said, we should try to figure out a concept. I said, well, I just came from the Met Gala in New York. But how do we make it our region and have our identity? I said, well, we got the best food. Mm-hmm. We got some of the best artists. And we got some of the best designers. So how do we integrate all of those things? And that became the Met Gala. And we're celebrating the 5th year. And I'm just very proud, man, that to get 10 designers, we probably have 150 models, 10 of the best artists who are based in the region but have international work and recognized. And then some of the best culinary curators will be part of what we do at the casino on August 29th.
How were you able to call it the Met Gala? Because everything Emmy tells me that this is not in conjunction with the Met Gala in New York.
No, it's not. So it's the Baltimore Met Gala. Met is for Metropolitan. If we ever get into any licensing issues, it's the Baltimore Metropolitan Gala.
Hey, y'all, that boy's good. He's good. He's good. Hold on. Let me give him this for a second. He said, just in case they come after me for copyright infringement, I'm not saying Met. It's an acronym for
Metropolitan.
Hey, Finney. Oh, you was a bad motherfucker, boy. He said this is well thought out, quick. Can't they try to sue me?
100%. But I'm going to tell you, this is just so funny, man. Folks from Gucci and folks from New York came down 2 years ago. And I'm not saying it's a coincidence, but it's a coincidence that in the history of the Met Gala, they never had black men at the front. 2 years ago, they put black men at the front. Our culture was never really at the front, right? And I know for a fact they came and sat in my audience and watched how we moved and watch black designers and models and artists and chefs control that environment. And it's the same thing in horse racing. They said that we wouldn't be able to support. Now Afro Preak is the biggest thing at Preakness, right? And it's all because of how, and you've been on the stage there, we're very intentional that we don't dumb down our community.
Facts.
And we set a standard on how we're going to show up and what it looks like. And I think that's the results of that.
And that kind of leads me into the next thing you just mentioned, Afro Preak. For those who don't know, Preakness is one of the largest horse and longest running horse racing festivals in America, outside of maybe the Kentucky Derby. This is one of the tops. So Preakness, if you're born and raised in Baltimore, I'll be honest, Preakness was never for us.
Never.
I'm 45, I'll be 46 this year. I probably didn't even attend my first Preakness until you guys became a part of it. So I've always heard Preakness, but either it was for white people, I'm gonna be honest, or we just couldn't afford it. Like that wasn't, y'all betting money that in my world where I come up at, we can't even afford to attend Preakness. But then one year, out of nowhere, I feel like all you see is blackness and Preakness and festivals, and now they're throwing concerts, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Then once again, I'm like, God damn, Finney, that boy just got his hands in everything. How did you get that call from Preakness to say, I want to partner with you and I need you to bring your world to us?
Yeah, man. So Jimmy Vargas and James Fowler were First Entertainment. They took it over in 21, had a vision to make it more like Coachella. And Alex Smith from the Atlas Group was catering the chalet for the owner. And they asked him, who can we call in Baltimore that could really get us connected to the community? So they made a call. And I'm telling you, literally, it was a 2-minute conversation with me and Chase. And we came up with Afro Preak. And the only condition I had is that if you want us involved, we have to have complete autonomy. We have to have our own area. We have to book our own talent. I make one guarantee, you won't lose money on what we're going to do. And it's got to be called Afro Preak. And that was the deal. And we started in a little space on the finish line.
I remember.
Right? With 150 invited guests. And that's the year we had Lauryn Hill, Megan Thee Stallion, D Nice, and so forth. And
I hosted on stage that year, by the way, too.
Yeah, you did. But I knew that our community will come out in numbers. And we started at 150, and the last one you did at Pimlico, it was like centers, man. It was 3,400 people we had come through there, and it was absolutely crazy for that. And now we're integrated. When I talk to the governor and the first lady, anytime they mention Preakness, Afro Preak is part of the DNA now. And even with Wes making the decision to take the licensing and make sure it stays in Maryland, Afroprix was one of the reasons that he made that decision, because you can't have an out-of-towner come take our Super Bowl. And I think that was a differentiator, is that folks in Maryland, the region, they should be looking at Preakness like it's the Super Bowl every year, and what that should mean from an economic standpoint to the region. So, yeah.
If y'all haven't realized why this guy is sitting here, just in case when we first tuned in, like, why is Quick bringing on Finney? That's just the first Thursday guy. Now somebody's watching like, I didn't know that was him. Oh, that was him? So Matt Gallo was him? And Afroprix was him? And House of Mellow was him? And Soul in the Water is him? And First Thursday is him? And all these, like, you are one of one. And I mean that wholeheartedly, not just as something I need to say. I feel like you deserve to hear that, because you've been doing so much for so many people. You've put so many people in position to win. You've helped other people make money. You've done so much for the community as far as giving back, being a philanthropist and an activist. Even times where some of the worst of times in Baltimore happening, and I'm marching or I'm going through whatever the rally is, Finney's always been right there. Like I can't think of a time where there was something happening in Baltimore where I was speaking at or marching and I didn't see Finney.
Right.
Like Finney's not just in the rooms with the big dogs, he's on the ground. And for something like that, I think that's why today was so important, because I want to tell you face to face and to millions of watchers, like, you need to be celebrated more.
I appreciate that.
And I feel like those who know Finney know, like, Finney's that person that is the most quietest. He's the quietest person in some rooms, but the loudest presence. When Finney walks in the room, the energy changes. I mean, I don't care what celebrity's in there or what athlete or what millionaire, billionaire. That's cool. I'm telling you. And moving forward, I'm so glad that we've had this moment, because I want people to look at you how I look at you.
Yeah, I'm proud, man. And I'm proud of you, man. And I think, you know, when I was going through that transition, a quick story. I'm in Indianapolis. And like I said, I'm on 10 knuckles, champ. But I said, I got to go to this combine because Gary Vee and some stuff that I was trying to rekindle, right? But I'm sitting next to this guy, Dave Meltzer. He's a great follow on social media. And God put me next to this guy. And, you know, he asked me a simple question. He said, what's your deal? I say, I'm fucked up right now. What's your story? He said, well, let me tell you what that really means. He's one of the original guys with Samsung. And he loses 300 million.
Right.
But he said the hardest thing was calling his mom to say, the house I bought you, you got to get out of.
That's tough.
His mother says to him, I'm not worried about that house. Are you okay? And then he challenged me. He said, every day for 30 days, no matter how bad you're doing, be of service and ask for help. So I wear humility, faith, gratitude, and love on my arms. But from that conversation was my comeback, because I'm serving every day to the point you just made. I'm of service every day. Who can I help? Who can I help? But then you got to have the humility to ask for help every day. And those are the things that I do each and every day, man. It changed my life.
It's crazy because, you know, I've been known for decades now for giving my vitamin of the day, whether it's on social or radio or TV. And I always say my goal daily is to inspire at least one person. If I inspire a million, good. But if I inspire one, I've done my job. I don't think you realize how much you just inspired me with that statement, because all of us are going through something.
Yeah, man.
Like I don't know anybody right now that's not fucked up in some way in their life. Whether it's something, you might be good financially, but mentally, something socially, your life, your marriage, something's off for everybody, right? But in that, when you're the man, like Finney's the man in his world. You're the big homie. I'm the big homie in my world, right? A lot of times we don't get to show those bad days. We don't get to show the emotion. We don't get to wear our feelings on our sleeve.
Right.
Finney could have been fucked up, and I never would have known it. Quicksilva has been beyond fucked up, but you didn't know it. The world didn't know it, because we just wake up and still keep thriving. But like you say, after a while, when you're forced to do that because it's a second nature of habit, sometimes you never get told, I see you and I hear you. And I think that's why when I was just giving you flowers, it's so important, because on those moments where you were messed up, and you just said that, I don't care how messed up you are for the next 30 days, be of service. I'm like, he's talking to me, because it's been times in my life recently.
Yeah.
You know what I had to go through. Rest in peace to my big homie, Big Samuel Bryant, Big Sam. People don't even know that because it's not trending right now.
Right.
I'm still fighting for justice every day.
Right.
I'm still meeting with Billy Murphy and the attorney generals every day.
Right.
So you can be going through the worst times of your life, but still got to show up and be Finney.
But quick, what you just said, you still been of service. And as you go through this challenge, after Big Sam, you're asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of guys, when you're in position, don't have the humility or vulnerability to ask for help. And that, I'm telling you, that's my superpower.
Mm-hmm.
I'm figuring out stuff every day, whether it's Pier 6 or whatever. I just called, my mentor, Dr. Hathaway. I'm going to some stuff. I said, how would you handle that?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's more seasoned than me. No matter how much I've been through, how would you handle that? And am I looking at this through the right lens? Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you, every day I ask for help, man, and it's really my superpower.
One thing I want to say this in closing, man, I want to say thank you because, we just mentioned, Big Sam, who was my guy for 30 plus years, my right-hand man. When it first happened and, we first went public and I'm doing all this press and media, one of the first calls of people that reached out to me was Finney. Because I remember you hit me and you ain't even asked what happened or I need to wait for the video to come out or anything. Your exact words, Quick, I'm praying for you. Let me know how I can help.
Yeah.
Let me know how I can help. Whatever. Matter of fact, your exact words, whatever you need from me is done.
Yeah.
Whatever you need from me is done. Yeah. And so many times, you know this when I say this, so many times people give you the biggest lie in the world, which is, Finney, if you need me, call me.
Yeah. Until
Finney calls you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then Finney, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I don't answer the phone. I can honestly say, Finney literally said to me, whatever you need is done. And every moment, every press, one of the first people to show up was you. And I love you for that, brother.
Yeah, I love Sam, man. And it's so funny. We getting ready for Afro Creek, and Sam calls me. I got to come pick up my guy's stuff. And always had your back, man. So I know what he
30 years.
I know what he meant to you, and it just broke my heart when I heard about it. So I just wanted to be there for you, man, because I know the weight of carrying something like that, not just personally, but then just really making sure that he got his due justice. It's just got to be a tremendous weight, and I'm saying, you don't need people when shit is good, man. You need people when I'm in the alley rumbling.
Yeah, I'm rumbling.
You know what I mean? When you're rumbling, and people want to be there when things are flowers, man. But when you're rumbling, that's who I know. And when things do get good, those are the people I bring with me to celebrate them.
I ain't got to say nothing else, man. I want to say on behalf of the Who Is podcast, I love you first and foremost. I'm proud of you. Thanks for inspiring me. Thanks for being my big homie. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting Baltimore. Thanks for making Baltimore look good. Because unfortunately, you know this, you travel like I travel. When people say Baltimore, they think the Wire and the Ravens and maybe crab cakes. Right. They don't realize all the beautiful things that go on here sometimes. But you've done a phenomenal job of throwing events that make people outside of Baltimore, like the Met Gala, like First Thursday, like Soul on the Water, like things that you've done that make people that aren't from here say, oh shit, it's actually really good things there. So I want to say thank you, brother, and I love you, man.
My man, thank
my
you.
guy, man. Yeah. The Who Is podcast. Anything you want to plug real quick or that happened when you talk about?
No, man. One, I love the city, and come support us. Pier6Baltimore.com, man. We want to really showcase this venue, and we're very proud of what it's becoming for the city. So
Hey man, we here every week, same time, same place. Now you know who is. I'm gonna start calling him LaRon just to be funny because I've never called him that in 30 years. By the way,
Larry calls me that though.
LaRon?
Yeah.
Producer Larry calls you LaRon? Okay, well, him. Does anybody else call you that besides Larry?
People really, really, really close to me. Yeah.
I'm close to you, but I'm LaRon.
Like family and but no, most people call me, 95% call me Finney.
All right, well.
Wouldn't even know who LaRon is.
Like, if somebody know you LaRon, who the fuck is LaRon? Oh, Finney, yeah, that's my guy. But once again, man, thank you, man. Thanks for tuning in to the Who Is podcast. We here every week, same time, same place. Keep liking it, keep subscribing, keep sharing it. And we back. Quicksilva salute.